Hello again, book lovers. Now, from time to time, I like to stray into an area I know nothing about. And in this case, it's the husband and wife Nobel Prize winning team of Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, who taught me something about poor economics, which is the name of the book. Subtitle: The Surprising Truth About Life on Less Than $1 a Day. And that's where they take the cut-off point, literally 99 cents a day. Millions and millions of people live like that. Can we help them? What can be done? I bought this book because I was browsing in a bookshop and I enjoyed the introduction, which seemed to me to be very balanced. They refer to supply wallahs and demand wallahs, depending on whether you are top-down or bottom-up proponent. And both sides are represented here. I do wonder if left-wingers might be put off by the fact that every solution mooted in this book is based on capital in the form of loans. And the book is divided into two: private lives and institutions. Private lives gives you some interesting stories of real life cases of how people have got out of poverty, but it's also honest about the programs and actions that don't work. The well-known microfinance initiative is very thoroughly examined here and comes out winning just. So very positive from the point of view of people putting all their energy in to help, and it is insisted on that the important thing here is the follow-up and the measurement. What actually happened? Did it do any good? The rather depressing element of this book is where good is done, it seems to me to be very slight. And given that the whole idea of this book is to look at developing world economics from a first world position, we do come across some of the surprising truths mentioned in the subtitle. Let's set up a school in Africa where everybody applauds the initiative. Did you know that education in some of Africa has an absentee rate of 50%, and that includes teachers, nor do the children feel motivated to go to school. Another pertinent example was the one where the women had to sign on at a certain health clinic every Monday, I think it was, in order to get some contraceptives. But they hadn't factored in the idea of purdah, where the women can't leave their houses unless they're accompanied. A rich friend of mine once told me that I think like a poor person, and this book underlines it. Apparently, the poor can't see why I shouldn't spend a bit of money now instead of saving for some future healthcare plan. Apparently, the poor are not very good with figures and economics. And yet, the poor are laced with some kind of survival instinct, drive, where you can subconsciously calculate the amount of protein per cent that you'll be spending your money on. There was a nice little vignette where a chap in Morocco who had hardly money for food was asked why he had a television. And he said, well, would you want to live without a television? Another one in the same chapter about the tragic story of why the lone widow has the 4 children out of school, which, when you put a magnifying glass to it, was not as tragic as it looked. In fact, it was all very well thought out in terms of getting back some kind of profit. And again in these well-meaning schemes, we run up against the concept of moral hazard. It's sort of tragedy of the commons, where if one person cheats, everybody loses. There's a lot to get your teeth into here. If you're good with figures, you can work out how much a 4% a day interest would work out at over the year. That's what a lot of people pay to rent their barrow or tools with which they might smash rocks. As I said, the amount of effort that's put into these schemes seems somehow to have disappointingly small returns. Still, thanks Abhijit and Esther for opening my eyes, for being open and honest as far as I can see, and this is a book review after all, for providing an entertaining and, as I said before, often surprising read.